On July 10, 2026, the U.S. Department of War published its fourth release of declassified and historical unidentified anomalous phenomena files through the official U.S. Department of War Release 04 archive. According to the department, this effort follows President Donald J. Trump's directive for transparency on government information related to UAP. The department says it is working with federal partners to find, review, identify, declassify, and publicly release unresolved UAP-related records and historical documents. The statement from Secretary of War Pete Hegseth says these files, long hidden behind classifications, have fueled justified speculation, and now, it's time the American people see it for themselves. Release 4 includes declassified documents and 1.4 gigabytes of video material. Some clips are strange, some may have simple explanations, others remain open questions. But if we are not alone, if something has been watching, moving, or appearing in our skies for decades, maybe this is the moment the truth begins to surface. You're watching Wormhole to Cosmos. Tonight we begin with the official footage, the verified records, and the mystery hiding in plain sight. Over the Yellow Sea in 2025, something unusual was about to enter a U.S. military case file. A U.S. military infrared sensor suddenly turns toward a dark anomaly in the sky and locks onto something deeply unusual. 6 sharp points, no visible wings, no exhaust, no clear sense of size, distance, or speed. For 15 seconds, the camera keeps the object near the center of the frame, as though the operator knows this is worth recording. Indo-Pacific Command forwards the footage to AARO, but the investigation ends without an answer. The file remains unresolved. But we have seen strange infrared shapes before, and sometimes the mystery is created by the sensor itself. Could this be something extraordinary, or simply a flare distorted into a 6-pointed star? East China Sea, 2025. A U.S. military infrared sensor begins tracking a faint area of contrast, but this time, the mystery behaves less like a solid object and more like something the camera is struggling to hold onto. The image fades against the background, slips out of frame, and disappears repeatedly as the sensor zooms and pans to recover it. At one point, black rectangles briefly cover the display. Then, for nearly 3 minutes, the camera keeps searching, but finds nothing. Indo-Pacific Command sent the footage to AARO, and the case remains unresolved. But the strongest clue may be the object's weakness. Was this a real target? Or simply contrast, noise, or a tracking artifact created by the sensor itself? Middle East, 2023. For 6 quiet seconds, the infrared screen shows nothing. Then, something strange tears across the frame. A dark, saucer-like shape rises from the lower right, irregular, almost unstable, and as it moves, a smaller streak appears to break away and shoot in the opposite direction. For one brief moment, it looks less like 2 separate objects and more like a single craft, changing form in real time. The official report calls them 2 areas of contrast. But with only 2 seconds of usable footage, no distance, and no telemetry, that explanation is not proven either. Could this be a shape-shifting saucer caught by a military sensor? Or an illusion created by infrared imaging? Atlantic Ocean, 2020. A U.S. Navy aircrew closes in on a dark object drifting through restricted airspace. The report came from United States Northern Command and was submitted to the AARO for investigation. The infrared sensor locks on as the crew passes close enough to describe it: maroon, metallic, reflective, and nearly 15 feet tall. No wings, no markings, no visible propulsion. At first, it sounds extraordinary, but then the clues begin to point in another direction. The object moves with the wind, makes no sudden turns, and performs no maneuvers. The crew itself says it resembles a large, deformed balloon. So why was it still unresolved? Because they never recovered it, never confirmed what it was, and almost every crucial measurement remains redacted. Maybe it was only a balloon. But who knows? Maybe it was something we are not quite ready to believe. Eastern United States, 2019. A civilian King Air surveillance aircraft is flying between mission sorties with 5 military-affiliated personnel aboard, 2 pilots and 3 mission crew members. Then one of them notices something below the aircraft. In the official Range Fowler debrief, the observer writes, "I noticed an object with flight characteristics unlike anything I had seen in my 28 years for the U.S. Air Force and U.S. Navy." The report describes it as small and traveling in a straight line opposite our direction at high speed. But the public video does not show the beginning of the encounter. The observer states, "I tracked it for approximately 10 to 15 seconds before we turned on the recorder. When the infrared sensor finally captures the object, it appears near the center of the screen. The operator changes the zoom, but the target moves out of view. The object's speed took it out of my field of view, and I was unable to reacquire, even at a lower zoom. After the aircraft landed, the crew examined the footage again. Upon analysis after the flight, the object appeared to be rectangular. And this was not only one person's uncertainty. The report adds that others with equal or more experience were also unsure as to what the object might be. The United States Navy submitted the footage and accompanying report to AARO. The case remains unresolved. Maybe the crew saw something ordinary passing closer than it appeared. Or maybe 5 experienced witnesses watched a small, rectangular object cross beneath their aircraft, moving unlike anything they could identify. Today, we only scratched the surface of this government release. We looked at a handful of cases, strange infrared footage, experienced witnesses, missing information, and objects that still have no clear explanation. There are many more files in the release, but these were the ones that stood out to me the most. I'm curious which case stayed with you, and which one you found the most convincing, or the most difficult to explain. I also want to thank everyone I recently met through Canadian North. It was great talking with so many people who were interested in the channel, space, and the mysteries we explore. I even met someone connected with the Canadian Space Agency, and someone who worked on the James Webb Space Telescope, which was pretty amazing. Thank you to all my subscribers for supporting the channel. Give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for more investigations. Remember, the universe is vast, mysterious, and full of wonders waiting to be explored. Stay curious, keep looking up, and until next time, keep your eyes on the stars.